Maybe it's time we learn what antibiotic resistance is. Maybe now is the time to understand the difference between antibiotics and probiotics, and that the chemicals are not the things to be scared of. Do you know what people need to be scared of? The things they cannot control. This is what you guys need to be scared of. This is something you cannot control because you cannot prevent pathogens. You cannot prevent pathogens. I don't care how many organic pieces of fruit you think you're eating. I don't care how many people you think you can avoid. You cannot prevent any of this stuff, being exposed to this stuff. Now, I was trying to print this out the other day, or I was trying to read it and I couldn't, so I printed it out. And so this is what's all over the world. All of you world travelers, you picked up all of this in some way. All of you that live in the US, around people who are world travelers, guess what? You picked up something of this nature along the way. You probably had an upset of homeostasis. Your body probably adapted to it, and it contributed to the programming, the degradation of your body. And this is what the aging process is. The aging process is all these viruses that you've been exposed to. And I don't care if you think it's from a vaccine. I don't give a shit. You've been exposed to people who have been exposed to this, whether from a vaccine or it's from the population. Now you could say, oh yeah, the CDC and the biotech has created all this all over the world. No, I'm sorry, but biotech and CDC came way after these viruses. Way after these viruses. So I don't want to hear anybody's conspiracy theory that I did take part of a long time ago, because I didn't really know the origin of all these different viruses. But these viruses are microbes are what started off, is what like the most smallest life form. Microbes are, okay? And so what do we do as people when we deal with pain and infection? We apply poisons to it to try to interrupt the programming. But guess what? Our bodies are so resilient, but it only lasts so long because we only have a certain amount of life in our systems if we don't feed it. So our vital organs get destroyed when we don't fix the programming from all of these damn little viruses that we're exposed to. And they're not really little, they're actually pretty big. And this is what's behind the vaccine program. Okay? So when you look at this, and then you look at the CDC schedule, they're trying to give people who don't take care of themselves a layer of protection. You get a live or a dead attenuated virus, a weakened version of the virus that you would find in Africa, Asia, Europe. And they're like, okay, since you guys are not taking care of yourself and we can't legislate morals, guess what? We got to give you some kind of vaccine to be able for you to assimilate to the growing amount of viruses that are all over the world. And people who are sick, who get sick from these viruses, will mutate the viruses, and guess what? They become pathogenic. And then what does our system do? Because we've asked for it, we apply antibiotics. So yeah, in a petri dish, you take one bacteria and you take some kind of poison. Yes, it's going to neutralize it in a petri dish. But then when you apply it to the body, it's a whole different chemical process, because the body is trying to survive. It has so many other factors that are involved that just simply putting a poison on this bacteria isn't going to stop. Because first of all, that bacteria will find other places to go hide, for one. And number two, the body is still going to try to survive amidst all of that bacteria that's in your system that doesn't belong, whether it's a virus or a parasite or whatever. And so simply just applying a poison to the body is not enough. You know, because look at what they do with chemotherapy. How many people with chemotherapy have ever lived past 100, 200, 300 years old? How many people that smoke and pot have lived past 100, 200, 300 years old? How many people, you know, that apply all these different holistic remedies look like they're 30 years old for hundreds and hundreds of years? Not many. You know why? Because they're dealing with the wrong programming. It's the antibiotics. Antibiotics become resistant over time. The reason why, because the body will adapt. This is why people, when you are exposed to these viruses, whether it's from a vaccine or in the population, yes, you like heal in the very superficial sense. Oh no, you haven't really healed. Just because your symptoms disappeared doesn't mean you healed. It means your body adapted to that upset of homeostasis, that mutation. And now your body is less than what it was before because you took on a new programming that then subverted the business processes, and now you have different misfirings, and now you are, like when people said they were exposed to mono, they've never been the same since. Mono is the most prevalent virus out there, and guess what it contributes to? It contributes to lymphoma, non-Hodgkin's lymphoma, multiple myeloma. And then they want to blame it on the chemicals. Oh yeah, the chemicals are what... The chemicals don't house these fucking viruses, you guys. This is where the common sense has to come into play. They have to blame something, because if they were to say that really, truly what's behind cancer, but they do say it, but not in so many words. If they really truly say what is behind cancer on a very prevalent basis, people will be running shitless scared. And they are. People are. So the only way to make people feel better, right, is to just throw money at them. Oh yeah, you're exposed to our conglomeration of chemicals that the body, a regular, normal type of relatively healthy body, would be able to process. Because I've been around Roundup, not on a continuous basis, but hey, if I were to be around Roundup on a continuous basis and I'm giving my body strategic nutrition, guess what? My body would be able to release all the excess minerals that are in the glyphosate, and I'd be fine. Why is it some people can handle being around glyphosate or Roundup on a continuous basis and others don't? Well, guess what? EBV and a compromised immune system is what contributes to the cancers, the multiple myelomas, and the lymphomas. And how many people out there have relatively the same lifestyle, have been exposed to the same viruses? There are people that look almost identical. You know why? Because they have the same lifestyle, because we don't have too many lifestyles that are that different here in the US. The TV programs us, schools program us, our friends program us. We're all under the same type of programming, so our lifestyle isn't that different. So I'm sure, I'll just put a number out there, maybe 1 in 50, 1 in 10 have Epstein-Barr virus with the same lifestyle, eating certain kind of foods, adopting the same remedies, potentially in the landscaping world or gardening, because they're in a specific socioeconomic, status. And so they have beautiful gardens that they tend to, and they use Roundup. It's not coincidental. It's just the formula. And then now who gets to be the scapegoat? Well, Monsanto will take one for the team, because then the other half of the company deals with the immunotherapies as well as all the different prescription drugs. Nothing wrong with it, because people want to be able to stay in their homeostasis, stay in their programming, but be able to adapt to it and be relatively pain-free until they pass away. That's what we've asked for. But then on the other side of it, you have staph infections. I have people in my life that not my life, but people that I know that are dealing with continuous leaking, pus leaking from either cellulitis or a staph infection that no antibiotic is able to touch. Now, I don't know if she's gone to the doctor or not. Even if she did go to the doctor, maybe she did, they probably gave her some antibiotic ointment and it's not working. You know why? Because the body adapted to that poison. Eventually, all of these different bacteria are going to, they're going to be antibiotic resistant because we're using the same stuff. And then the pharmaceutical company has to find a stronger poison from the elemental or from the periodic tables. And then guess what? It's going to destroy you even more. It's going to leave you open for more viruses and more pathogens and more stuff. Okay? At some point, it's going to be where they're going to have to, they already are poisoning us, because that's what we're asking for, is an interruption of the programming as far as the cancer, disease, and chronic illness. But our weak bodies are not going to be able to take on that very strong poison. And then, yes, some people will succumb to those remedies. And this is why it's so dangerous for these mothers of autistic children trying to apply all of these different holistic remedies, whether it's cannabis oil or weed or bleach, which you should never do, or anything else that's out there that's part of the holistic alternative remedies market. They are playing with, they are gambling their child's life, because they're applying an antibiotic programming to a kid that's already weak and immunocompromised. This is where the strategic nutrition and the right probiotic is going to come into play. And I'm telling you, it's not too soon. It's perfect timing, because with like this Ebola, and we've heard about Ebola for a while. I mean, what was it? Outbreak, that movie came out in like the 1990s with like Morgan Freeman and some other actors were going into an encampment over there in the Congo, and then that Ebola virus came to the US from a monkey that came onto, American soil because of the exotic animal trade. You've already been exposed to these crazy viruses. Just a matter of time with all of these mutated people who don't take care of their bodies, who apply the wrong programming, are going to be a sitting duck. And some of these viruses are not that aggressive. But when you have a very sensitive mutated body, yes, the common cold, which is basically a flu virus, could take somebody down. This is what we need to be afraid of. Not the GMO, not the chemtrails, not the 5G. These activists who are basically a wing of the corporations are forcing you to look left. The anti-vaxxers are forcing you to look left when you should be looking right here. This is what is the issue. Now, yeah, they have to give you some kind of layer of protection because some people do not take care of their bodies. Some people have very weak immune systems and weak bodies. They have to have a vaccine, especially if there's a specific virus that is very, very strong and aggressive. It could potentially take a person down. But no. We have people that want you to look left, that want to stay in their activism, and they don't get that this is really, truly what is behind the cancer, disease, and chronic illness. But it's all about balance. And this is what the medical industry has to figure out now, titer tests and really seeing if a person is a candidate for some of these vaccines. Others are not. This is what's behind the vaccine schedule, okay? It wasn't that prevalent back in 1962, but polio was prevalent, smallpox, and then DTP, I think that's diphtheria. Then 83, it was like triple that. And actually they have like different strains of DTP and polio and measles, mumps, and rubella. Now it's like influenza, DTaP, Tdap, influenza, Hep B, Hep A, Hep B, influenza, rotavirus, influenza, DTaP, 2 months, 4 years, HIV, HPV, PCV, MMR, IPV, varicella, rotavirus, influenza, DTaP, influenza, HIV, influenza, PCV, influenza. I mean, they have it all the way to 18 years. Yeah, influenza, meningococcus. I mean, these are viruses, you guys. This is what's programming your body to die. This is what aging is. Aging is when you have so many viruses in your body programming it because it's taking over. That's what aging is these viruses that are taking over and replicating. And then your body is still trying to fight and live. And maybe you kind of half-heartedly kind of fight, with maybe changing your diet or maybe drinking my juice every now and again, maybe taking on some kind of pill, powder, or supplement to kind of interrupt the programming a little bit, to interrupt stuff. But the viruses are stronger than the programming that you're trying to apply to it to mitigate the symptoms. When you have all of these viruses with different levels of severity swimming around in your body, you think celery juice and taking poisons are going to help you? What are the poisons? The cannabis, the diatomaceous earth, the bentonite clay, the kombuchas, the apple cider vinegars, the turmeric and the honey, the elderberry syrup, the garlic, these like garlic soups that people make. What else? Colloidal silver. That's poison programming. If you already have a stagnated immune system and a stagnated digestive system, and you're over mineralized, you think colloidal silver is going to be really the right answer? No, it's a freaking poison. Yeah, so you basically suppressed your immune system with colloidal silver. Congratulations. You now left your kid and you open for more viruses. Congratulations on that. Elderberry syrup. So much sugar feeds the candida. Too much candida lowers your immune system, leaves your kid open for more viruses. Congratulations on that. Holistic, crunchy mama. People have to understand these viruses are very strong. You have to apply the right programming. we've been learning about the probiotics, the lactobacillus, which is the very strong program, but it has to be the right lactobacillus, paired with the right nutrients, with the right salt, not with sugar, milk, or water as a pair. No, that's the wrong, or vinegar. It's a wrong pairing of a lactobacillus. Okay? We need electrolytes. We are electrolyte deficient, obviously. We are probiotic deficient, obviously, because we have so many mutated people who are carrying viruses. Okay? We are nutritionally deficient. We're malnourished. You see it in people who are very obese, and you see people who are very skinny. Okay, so you don't have to be obese or skinny to be malnourished. People think, oh yeah, I'm skinny, I eat organic, I'm a vegan. And they're like thin as a rail, and they're aging rapidly. Oh, but they're healthy. They say that they're healthy when they're carrying all these viruses and different diseases. And it contributes to the aging process. Wrinkly skin, graying hair. Oh, but in our society, it's okay to age. Well, of course it is, because that's what we've accepted, because we've been plagued with so many viruses, and modern medicine hasn't figured out how to reprogram the body correctly to bring us back to where we were supposed to be initially when we first, well, I don't even know when the body really should be regenerating at a rapid level. But right now, we're allowing these viruses to take over. So yeah, if you're continuously pussing, when your body is leaking pus on a continuous basis, it's trying to fight an infection. That's white blood cells. Your body is continuously, and eventually, that infection is going to reach a vital organ, and guess what's going to shut you down? Okay? Cellulitis, staph infections that are left untreated with the right programming will eventually shut you down. You have to apply the right data to your body to shut that bacteria, that Staphylococcus aureus, whatever you want to call it, aureus. Staph infections are no joke. MRSA is no joke. These are aggressive bacteria. And so when your body is trying to you can't prevent pathogens, and you can't prevent healing. And the only way you can prevent healing really is when you die. So when you're in pain on a continuous basis, and there is no let up, and you're pussing on a continuous basis, that's because your body is trying to survive and is using everything it can to fight. But eventually, there's going to be an expiration date because you're not giving your body what it needs. So if you have a staph infection or cellulitis on your skin, and you're continuously pussing, you need to first go to the doctor. But if those antibiotics don't work, what other choice do you have? Now you got to look at probiotics. Oh, but be very careful taking any you can make your own probiotics. This is the thing. You make your own probiotics. Make the jelly juice. Okay? Let me just be frank. Make the freaking jelly juice and soak your goddamn skin in it. You have no other choice. If you already been to the doctor and those antibiotics don't work, what other choice do you have? You have no other choice. You can sit and be miserable, or say, hey, there's nothing wrong with cabbage juice. It's not poisonous. It's a probiotic. Lactobacillus is these bacteria's mortal enemy, and your body needs nutrition. But I sent this lady a message. I doubt she'll actually listen to me, and that's fine. She's been on my Facebook for a while. Some people will continue to suffer. Some people will continue to go through their own programming until they pass away. And as long as you did 100% to give people an opportunity to explore your information, talk to them on a more of a passive aggressive level, which is not directly towards them, but in this manner, maybe they might get it, or maybe they don't. But at least you didn't pressure them, but you gave them information. If they choose to take it, great. If they don't, they have no one to blame but themselves. They've been introduced to this info. I have so much substantiated information from Medical News Today, which is a credible source, from PubMed, academia, and biotech. I don't know what other proof you need. Now the rest is up to you to process that information and maybe read and comprehend. But we were looking at people who have 8th grade level reading levels. We're maybe dealing with people who cannot comprehend very, very simple information. Okay. It's Darwinism, survival of the fittest. This is the true depopulation agenda. It is self-induced. It is self-induced. So all of this crazy modern medicine, the whole black market, organ trade, really is going to put something. Now, I understand people are like, okay, you got to save a life. You got to, create an organ, do a stem cell, create an organ, or take somebody's organ that died. But you realize that a person does have the ability to regrow their own cells. And guess what organs are made up of? Their own freaking cells. You advocate all of these superficial remedies. You're painting somebody in a box. What's wrong with understanding probiotics in a strategic sense? This is for Rebecca. What's wrong with promoting this? When you promote stem cell, creating hearts out of stem cells, you're painting somebody in a box. Why couldn't you promote somebody regrowing their own heart, regrowing anything that their body is missing because of a viral programming that's caused them to lose limbs and lose organs and lose function in their organs? What's wrong with that? I don't get it. We are so influential in our circles, but yet we don't take on something that's so right in front of our face. It's so obvious, and it doesn't cost any freaking money. You know how much stem cells cost to go buy a stem cell heart? Do you know how much these people are dying because people are taking organs from people? Oh yeah, be an organ donor. And so guess what they do? They go and take these kids that have no parents and cut out their organs and then trade them on the black market. That's what you're contributing to when you don't promote cell regeneration on your own level. You're contributing to the black market organ trade. Congratulations. I hope you can sleep at night. I hope you can sleep at night because you're contributing to the black market organ trade, because you're not telling people that, you know what, maybe you can regrow your own organ. You don't need stem cells. It pissed me off when people have been on my Facebook for a while and they're promoting things that then contribute to the victimization of children, because that's what it did. It's a domino effect. You put all this hope and life in organ donation, which is fine, I guess. If somebody happens to die and they have a functioning organ, okay, fine. Oh, regrowing an organ in a stem cell in a lab, what's the point? What's wrong with promoting this? What you're doing is you're promoting shortcuts. You're promoting big pharma, and you say you're against big pharma, but yet you're promoting that. Thanks, Tina. This is the hypocrisy I get so annoyed with. Really, especially when we've been talking about this stuff for flipping years. We have the ability to regenerate cells. But you got to exemplify that you actually understand this information. But yet people listen to me and they watch my videos, but yet they cannot seem to even grasp the concepts. And then they promote things that then victimize kids from third world countries or prisoners. If we don't get on this as far as regrowing organs and limbs and all these things, guess what? We're going to be victimizing people who have no power. Prisoners of war, children in orphanages, all these things that are out there, all these different black market trades out there. That's what the dark web, the black market organ business. It's pretty profound when you actually look at when you're promoting these things as far as stem cells and organ donation. If you heard about people that when they have to take an organ from somebody, usually it's somebody that has to be alive. They cannot be dead. The person has to still be alive, and some people have been deemed like dead and brain dead, but they're not, and their organs are being taken out because they're an organ donor. And so not only do we victimize one family, but now we victimize two families because we're not getting this information out that's so valuable. But whatever, hey, it's easier to promote something that you really have no relationship with. It's fun to say, oh yeah, I promote organ donation, I promote stem cells, I promote all this stuff, I believe it, everyone should be healthy, and I'm holistic. This is as natural as you're going to freaking get. This is as self-sufficient as you're going to get. You can't get any more self-sufficient or natural than this. Oh, but you're afraid of the pain. Well, then you're part of the problem. If you can't stand up to your own pain, then you're part of the problem. So whatever. But anyways, yeah, you can't prevent pathogens and you can't prevent healing. So what are you going to do? You have to apply the right programming. And it's the lactobacillus, it's the electrolytes, and it's the nutrients. Anything else, you're just playing the same fucking game that's out there. Congratulations. Those of you that play the game, you're not helping humanity. You're contributing to the crap in humanity. Bye.